And welcome back to Home Wizards. You know, it's one of those things where you have people over. Well, what do you think? It gets kind of stressful if your relatives spill blank. What's the number one irritant for you?
I think it's red wine.
Red wine?
Yeah, because they all do.
Yeah. Well, because,
somebody
it's
bumps the
festive.
table, it's festive.
Couldn't help it.
You know, I was going to propose a toast, and then they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Is this precious tablecloth?
Is it a white tablecloth,
yeah,
too,
of course
right?
it is. Lacy, with from like grandma from, 1812.
Well, anyway, that's Eric Stromer, and I'm Cindy Dole, and you're listening to Home Wizards, and we thought we'd kind of walk through the stress-free, we're not going to worry, what me worry, stain survival guide for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I got to tell you,
holidays.
I even get a little uptight when people are using the cloth napkin. When I'm, and I realize I'm going to have to wash it. I'm like, don't, God, no, don't wipe your mouth with that thing.
But wait, are you washing your napkins?
yeah,
because we dry clean ours.
Well, you're fancy.
They're linen.
You're fancy.
They're like white linen, and
no,
you get.
We don't have those kind. We just have the kind that we bring out.
But still,
that are cloth. But it's almost like, really, do you have to use it on your?
Just
your
kind of put it there to the
with
side.
You're chewing those things.
Jeez. All right. Well, it is supposed to be used, but it would be nice if they didn't get things like gravy on, on our beautiful linen. So let's talk about some solutions. There's something called Shout. Have you ever used?
Shout is a miracle.
Yeah.
I love it.
So it's kind of like a pre-treater. So like you use a little bit of Shout. Let's say, your mother-in-law spilled some gravy
again
on her napkin.
Right.
She couldn't help it.
No.
I mean, she was enjoying the turkey and the gravy.
She finally stopped with the tofurkey and had some real turkey meat.
Did she do a tofu?
Geez.
But help that she had the
real.
real.
Here's your vile little gray ball.
And
Happy Thanksgiving.
And here's the gravy. And so she had some gravy, but it got on the napkin. So you would pre-spray it with some Shout, or spray and wash, or any kind of a stain remover, and then you kind of rub the stain with a heavy-duty liquid detergent or paste.
Right.
That's made out of.
It's a two-stage process.
Made out of a powdered detergent, because that's the idea, is you want to have the pasty, almost like a white paste, so it kind of comes to the surface, and then you scrub it kind of maybe with a toothbrush.
And you can even use it, the napkin on itself,
friction.
And kind of just go back and forth.
And then rinse it in some hot water?
Well, then you got to do some pre-soaking. You don't want to use hot water, never hot with protein stains.
Oh, okay.
Because they'll set. You want to use like warm or even cold.
Okay.
Preferably warm's okay. Though. And then you do a pre-soak, about 30 minutes, and then go ahead and rewash it.
And if you needed, if it was a white piece of fabric, you can even then go to washing it, in the fabric that is usable, the right kind of detergent, and even an all-fabric bleach to remove for that final kind of phase 3. So it could be a 3-stepper.
Yeah, and by the way, this is the reason I only use these things once a year on Thanksgiving. It's a lot of work, man.
I know.
You almost just want to give them a paper towel and call it a day.
Well, what if you had the cheese dip? Because one of my favorite things that I make for Thanksgiving is, the appetizers, is I make a clam dip in a bowl of bread.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So you use the bread
creamy,
bowl.
Yeah.
And you dig out the bread.
You get one of those round loaves of bread. You cut off the top like, it's the lid of a pumpkin, if you will.
Yeah.
Then you scoop out the innards and you cube it, and you could even buy some extra cubes.
Yeah.
And we'll put this on the website, but it's basically clam, like a clam flavored, you use some real clams, clam seasoning, and then I think it's Philadelphia cream cheese and some Lee and Perrins, and then some spinach.
Wow.
It's a lot of cheesy, ooey gooey stuff. It's really yummy. And then it's clamtastic.
Yeah,
and then you put the lid of the bread on it with foil around it, and you bake it for an hour or so. But anyway, when it comes out, someone's going to spill it.
Of course
it's going to happen, but we're not going to worry because, again, that fresh protein, you're going to basically soak and agitate it or rub the stain in cold water, right?
Yep.
And then, never use the hot water. And then if the stain is dried, you can just kind of scrape it off, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you can. You can even use a credit card, the edge of a credit card. By the way, that's great for wax, too, if somebody drips wax on the table.
Is that why you have that great collection of credit cards?
No, that's a whole other story. We'll have to talk to my financial advisor about that. No, it's the rigid plastic card is great to scrape, and wax comes off of fabric that way, or wood tables.
Wax on, wax off.
There you go. Very easy. Ralph Macchio.
How about cranberry stains? And by the way, do you love making homemade cranberry sauce?
I do, and I'm doing it again.
It's so easy. It's almost like ridiculous.
Easy. It's a shame how easy
and the key is, for me, is I add port, a little bit of port wine.
Yes.
because then it adds kind of a deep sweetness to the tart, and then you have some oranges in there and then
there's
apples.
something about good port that it never seems too sweet. Like sometimes it can be a little gaggy, like cough syrup. But
really
the good stuff
port
is not too sweet, and it just feels exactly right.
So you put the port with the cranberry and then some oranges and granny apples, so you've got sweet and tart. But you've made it, and it's been lovely. But guess what? Mother-in-law Marilyn
she wiped
spilled
her face
that
again with the napkin.
So, and this is a tannin stain, which means it's a plant component that often shows as a color in the final product, and we're not happy because now it's on our linen, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? You can remove it by laundering the garment using detergent in the hottest water that you can possibly handle.
Okay.
But never use natural soap like in a bar or soap flakes, because that makes the tannin stains more difficult to remove.
Yeah.
And then if it's an older tannin stain, you may need to treat it with bleach.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with bleach.
Yeah. So that's the cranberry sauce is a toughie. It's right up there with the wine, you know?
Right. Yeah, and it's kind of the same process for wine.
Yeah.
Because those also are tannin stains, right?
Yeah.
So wine and beer, same thing. The toast happens, the big wine spill on the white tablecloth.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing, right?
But there is something, by the way, called Wine Away. And I highly recommend this. They sell it. So it comes in a little spray bottle. And it might be something just to have on hand. Maybe even create your own stain supply kit that you have all these things off to the side in the kitchen because something's going to happen. And you can also get a thing of borax, this borax paste. That's also a great thing that you can use for wine. But check out Wine Away. It's a little spritz bottle, and it is perfect for like red, bold wines. There's something in it. I don't know, but it makes it vanish. I've used it a lot on clothing and on like tablecloths and stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's sold like in, you go like to Bevmo or some of these, these liquor places. They sell it right there. Yeah.
It's great to know.
Yeah.
One time I was at a sushi bar.
Oh, that's right.
And soy sauce spilled all over the garment with the gal I was with. This was back in the 80s. God bless her, Lisa. She was a fine young lady. And guess what? The guy came out and put daikon radish on the garment, and it soaked the soy sauce right out of the old dress. And I was a hero.
See?
Why?
Well, maybe have some daikon radish on hand.
I'm wearing it now. I've got it in a little locket.
A little
around
brooch.
My neck. Yeah.
Oh. What about butter, oil, or salad dressing stains? Because that we're going to have maybe a side salad. And, of course, it's all about butter for Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
But the oil-based stains, they should also be pre-treated with like a shout or a spray and wash for a little bit. And it's kind of like phase 1 is that. And then phase 2 is the rubbing part, right?
Rubbing and then the soaking.
And then maybe then an actual regular load, and then before drying, you might need to repeat it a second time.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good idea to get yourself a bottle of the shout before the Thanksgiving even happens.
Get the shout, borax, get vinegar, bleach.
Make a little kit, have it there, you have it ready to go.
And it could be kind of subtle. You could even call it my stain survival kit.
Yeah.
And it just off, kind of by the wine in the kitchen, and as people show up, wow, we're kind of
they're really ready.
You're expecting us to spill.
That's exactly it.
And it's like, bring it on, right?
Bring it on.
How about pumpkin pie? Pumpkin pie, you'd think that's kind of harmless because it's a kind of a goldeny color. How bad could that be? But you know what? It can, because it also is, that protein. The stains contain other ingredients, but the protein needs treatment first. So never would use hot water.
Nope.
Because it actually cooks the protein.
Cooks it into the fabric.
Into the fabric.
That's it.
So if, let's say, you've had the pumpkin pie, and oops, there it went. Willow got some of the pumpkin pie. She couldn't help it.
She can't. She loves the pie.
She wasn't like throwing food. It just fell.
She's 8. Give her a break.
I know.
That's right.
But it's okay. You would pre-soak.
Heart of gold.
If the stain is dried or old, you scrape it off, and then soak it in cold water using a liquid detergent with color-safe bleach. And then after you pre-soak that for 30 minutes, you can launder it in warm water, and you should be okay. You should be okay. So then with the survival kit, you're going to feel, what?
And it's stress-free. It gives you the peace of mind to know that any of these things are accessible and solvable.
I mean, chocolate.
You don't have to shame your
candle
guest.
wax, all these things. We'll put the list up on the website. You might even want to download it and share it with your friends because there's time now. You can get this kit, your survival kit. Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole, thanks for hanging with us. You're listening to Home Wizards. Remember, too, you can always check us out at yourhomewizards.com, on Facebook and Twitter. And until next time, remember this, the key is under the mat. Bye-bye.